Have you ever felt like you hear two voices sometimes? One is telling you to indulge in easy pleasures, and the other one is telling you that you have important goals? I'm here to tell you that you're not crazy. That's actually prefrontal cortex and your lizard brain fighting each other. Your lizard brain is the limbic system and it's the oldest part of your brain. It wants easy pleasures and it's responsible for your fight or flight mechanism. Your lizard brain is very powerful even though it is rather primitive. The lizard brain is the reason why you see overweight people around. The lizard brain is the reason for certain addictions like internet addiction and drug addictions. Why is this the reason? Well, the reasoning behind this is that the lizard brain wants comfort and security. It does this by making you crave easy pleasures and activating your flight or flight mechanism even though there is no real danger. Your lizard brain does not know that you have goals in your life, and easy pleasures like going on social media, eating junk food, and watching porn is ruining your life. It's very primitive and it doesn't know what's healthy and what's not. If you haven't built up the willpower and the discipline, it's going to be hard to overcome the lizard brain. And for the average young man, you wouldn't have leveled up your discipline and your willpower to a certain extent where you can overcome your lizard brain. If you have noticed that your anxiety levels are higher than a normal person, it means that you have an enlarged amygdala, which means you have an enlarged lizard brain. Amygdala is another word for your lizard brain and it can be used interchangeably. Your lizard brain does not know what's real and what's not. All it wants to do is protect you, so it's going to activate your flight or fight response way too often, giving you anxiety way too often. You get an enlarged amygdala because you indulge in these instant gratification activities way too often. Instant gratification activities are a surefire way of draining your energy and giving you long-term mental health problems such as anxiety. If instant gratification activities enlarge the size of the lizard brain, guess what delayed gratification activities do? That's right, they reduce the size of it. The two delayed gratification activities that help me reduce the size of my amygdala and my lizard brain are meditation and exercise. I recommend you start with meditation because it is the most effective one out of the two, and you will see results of it within months. Now, straight away, some of you thought that I was going to say minutes or days. Remember, it's literally in the words delayed gratification. You literally see results later down the line. The most practiced and the most effective type of meditation is mindfulness meditation. It's when you're mindful of your breath going in and out of your nose for as long as you can. When your attention goes elsewhere, notice it and bring it back to the present moment to your breath. Instant gratification activities are designed to keep your mind wandering and it promotes mindlessness. Think about it, when you're on social media, you see a new piece of content every 2 to 3 seconds and you're mindlessly scrolling away, which means that you're not in the present moment. I'd say start with 5 minutes of meditation a day and make it a consistent habit. Now, straight away, your ego is going to be like, but Himanshu, I can do way more than 5 minutes a day. The thing is, you might be able to, but it's still too extreme for you to be consistent in. So you'll quit after the first couple of days. The thing is, if you let your lizard brain control you for most of your life, you haven't built up the skill of discipline. So you must understand that you shit when it comes to discipline. To build it up, you need to do amounts of a task that may seem beneath you at the moment. Remember, you have your whole life ahead of you to add volume. So if you start with 5 minutes a day and add 1 minute each week, at some point it'll be too much for you to do. So to stay consistent, your goal must be to do the bare minimum and tick that box of meditation for that day. To help you stay consistent, I recommend you keep a habit tracker posted up on your wall. Just write the date and then two delayed gratification activities next to it, which are meditation and exercise. I know I said start with 5 minutes of meditation a day, but if you know that you really lack discipline, you can start with 1 minute of meditation a day and work your way up after that. Again, remember, you have your whole life ahead of you to build up the volume. Chances are, if you're watching this, you're in the 18 to 25-year-old range, so you're still young as fuck. You get to tick the box on the habit tracker as soon as you do 1 minute of meditation a day. It's the same with exercise. On the first few sessions, go to the gym and do whatever you like for as long as you like. As long as you do any amount of exercise, you get to tick off the box on the habit tracker. The thing about the lizard brain is that it makes you debate over certain goals you have in your life. You might have had this where you really wanted to go to the gym that day, but your lizard brain was stronger and it said that it's more comfortable in bed, so you waited in bed instead. It's so easy to give in to the lizard brain because it's always trying to seek comfort and security, and it doesn't care if your life gets worsened in the long run. The best way to not get caught up in the way of the lizard brain is to act first and think later. Literally, when you get a thought to do something that will progress you towards your goals, just do it without thinking. If you decide to keep thinking, the lizard brain will hijack your thinking and compromise. What you need to do is weaken your amygdala or the lizard brain and strengthen your prefrontal cortex or the PFC. The PFC is the most advanced part of our brain and is responsible for critical and logical thinking. If you strengthen this part of your brain, you will literally be unstoppable. You will have so much willpower that you will continue to do all the good habits without any friction. You constantly would not have the battle of the two voices in your head of the PFC and the lizard brain. Your discipline will be sky high because your willpower is unlimited, so you'll be more likely to stick to your good habits. You can have the bad habits in front of you and you won't indulge in them because you know that it will harm your greater goals. Now, I'm not saying that you wouldn't be able to do it if you didn't have a strong PFC, but I'm saying that it would be a lot tougher for you to do with the lizard brain being so strong. For most people, their emotions are stronger than their logical thinking. Decision making when the lizard brain is involved is quite emotional. We're human beings, we need emotions. But what happens when you become slaves to those emotions? We literally don't achieve shit. And that's what the amygdala does. It makes you a slave to your emotions. I'd say anyone that indulges in instant gratification activities are a slave to their emotions. You need to find a nice balance, guys. You need to have enough emotion to feel like you're actually human, but be rational in your thinking, which literally means have a strong PFC. So now we know how to reduce the size of the lizard brain. It's by doing meditation and exercise, right? But now how do we strengthen our PFC? I'll give you a surefire way to do that, but it's not some magic trick, but it's learning. Yes, learning and specifically reading books. I can't believe not many people in our age group read books anymore. Some books are another person's perspective of the world. Their learning lessons, their setbacks, their experiences. How could you not want such a wealth of knowledge? There's literally books for anything these days, whether it be self-improvement, entrepreneurship, languages, cooking. Now, how does this strengthen the PFC? Because new information pushes your brain out of its comfort zone and forces it to adapt and understand. It's pushing your brain to piece together new information that may be useful later down the line, which literally enhances your PFC. So there we go. Now, reading should be on your habit tracker as well. You get to tick off the reading box on the habit tracker as soon as you complete one paragraph of reading, and you can add volume as you go on. Make sure you progressively overload just like in the gym. You can read 2 paragraphs the next week and so on. If you're new to reading, I recommend you pick up the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's such a good first read. And especially if you're trying to overcome your lizard brain and you're trying to build new healthy habits, Atomic Habits by James Clear will get you there. It was one of the most eye-opening books I ever read, and I don't look at habits the same way I used to. So there you go, that's it. Stick to these 3 habits for 6 months and come back to me when you see some results and thank me later. And don't be discouraged if you don't see the results in 6 months. You can't expect to undo all the damage that you've done to your brain with instant gratification activities over the years. Think about it, this is a result of damage you've done to your brain over the years by frying your dopamine receptors, by going on social media, eating junk food, and watching porn. You cannot expect to undo these things with a flick of a switch overnight. But if you stay consistent with the habits that I've told you in this video, you will overcome your lizard brain.